Hi guys, so welcome back to the second part of this question and answer discussion for the state Bihar exam. So coming to this question, how many edges are required for a graph with n vertices to be tri-connected? Have it. So what does it mean by tri-connected? Tri-connected means have at least three bi-connected components. So we first have to understand what does bi-connected mean. So coming to the ChatGPT answer question and answer. A biconnected component is a maximal subgraph in which any two vertices are connected to each other by two disjoint paths. In other words, removing any single vertex does not disconnect the component. Okay, so biconnected means like if you have two vertices or any or more than two vertices, right? Sorry, more than one vertex. And then if those vertices are connected to each other, right? Then if you remove a single vertex, right, it should not disconnect the graph, right? Now coming to this tri-connected graph. A graph is tri-connected if it remains connected after the removal of any two vertex. Okay. Tri-connectivity implies that the graph is strongly connected and has no articulation points. Vertex whose removal disconnects the graph. Okay. For graph to be tri-connected must be sufficiently dense to ensure the required connectivity properties. Okay. So the minimum of edges for tri-connected graphs are for graph with n vertex to be tri-connected. The minimum number of edges needed is 3n minus 6. So n here is your number of vertex. So if you take your number of vertex as 3, so 3 into 3 9 minus 6. So basically uh, you need to have like at least 3 edges if you have a if you have 3 vertex. And that does make sense actually, like if you want to keep it tri-connected. Okay, so we have example for n equal to 5 vertex. We have the minimum number of edges equal to 9. So a graph with 5 vertex would need at least 9 edges. To ensure that it is tri-connected, this can have at least three bi-connected components. And the answer which has been given is n minus 1. Okay, so I'm not sure why they say n minus 1 because n minus 1 doesn't seem to be answer because yeah, the answer has to be given 2n minus 6. Let me just ask, can the answer be n minus 1? I think no, it's just giving me some random answers now. Coming to this part in multi-stage class, what is the property of optimality? Okay, I'm not sure how I got this answer correct because in no way I know what this question means, and so yeah, let's ask this question now. In multi-stage graphs, what is the property of optimality? Shortest part between any two stages is the one with the few stages. The shortest path between any two is the one with the lowest total cost. Okay, let's ignore what is written here. Just read this part. Shortest path between any two stages is the one with the fewest stages. Okay, that that makes sense, kind of. But not entirely so because each edge has some kind of a weight, right? The shortest path between any two stages. You can think of stage as a vertex. Okay. So the shortest path between any two vertex is the one with the lowest total cost. Yeah, this is the right because we want to get from one vertex to another vertex, right? And we can take multiple paths. Like basically, let's just suppose you want to go from Mumbai to Kolkata. There can be multiple paths, right? But you will be trying to choose the path which has the lowest cost. The shortest path between any two stages is the one with the highest total cost. You won't be choosing this one, right? And the the thing which is needing here is optimality. So I kind of thought that optimality means like reducing the cost or the best optimal way to reach your destination. So let's see. In the context of multi-stage graphs, the property of optimality is concerned with finding a path that manages the total cost between the stages. This means that out of all possible paths from the source stage to the destination stage, the optimal path is the one that incurs the least total cost. Okay, what is multi-stage graph? A directed graph divided into stages where each stage contains a set of vertices. Okay, so stage doesn't entirely mean vertex, but it's actually a set of vertices, and they just only connect vertices from one stage to the next. Hmm. Optimal path means that you want to go from initial stage to the final stage. So, yeah. What is the threaded binary tree? Threaded binary trees are particularly useful for which type of traversal? Okay, first of all, what is the threaded binary tree? And what type of traversal is possible in a threaded binary tree? So all kinds of traversal are possible in binary trees, but we are specifically talking about threaded. Okay, so it says the correct answer is in order, but I gave level order. Okay. Hmm. A threaded binary tree is a binary tree variant where null pointers in the nodes are replaced by the pointers to the in-order predecessor or successor. Okay, which facilitates in-order traversal without the need for a stack or recursion. The idea is to make the in-order traversal more efficient by reducing the overhead association with recursion and stack usage. Okay, okay. So they are saying ki, uh, basically if you are at the leaf node, right? So leaf node generally points to null pointer, right? But it is saying that if you are at the leaf node, right, you are actually pointing to your pointing to your own predecessor or successor. More efficient by reducing the overhead association with. Okay, so by predecessor or successor means you are just pointing to the number before you, or you are pointing to the number just after you. So pre-ordered traversal is this way, is this way, post-order this way, and left level order traversal is from top to bottom. And we are saying that we don't need any extra memory or stack because we can just go ahead with using your uh, pointers to your predecessor or successor to go to the next element. Okay, now coming to the next question. A complete binary tree is a binary tree in which. Okay, so all my questions which are related to binary tree are going wrong. A complete binary tree is a binary tree in which all nodes have the same value, all leaf nodes are at the same level. Can be true. Um, all internal nodes have the same degree. Mm, okay, 2 and 3, any one of these two can be the answer. The left subtree of each node has a larger height than the right subtree. The left subtree of each node has a larger height than the right subtree. That is completely wrong. So between 2 and 3 we have to choose. A complete binary tree is a binary tree where all levels except possibly the last are completely filled and all nodes in the last level are as far left as possible. Okay, so third is not the right answer because they're saying ki, internal nodes can have different degrees. That is different number of children attached to it. Mm. So all leaf nodes are at the same level. This is also not entirely accurate because if you think about it, they, it is saying that they must be positioned to the leftmost part of the last level. So basically, you have to start filling the position starting from your left, and you can have one empty. You can have one less leaf node just at the right, and hence they are saying ki, they must not all if they are not all at the same level. But yeah, this option suits the best. Which collision resolution technique involves placing collided elements in the next level empty slot in the hash table? Which collision resolution technique involves placing collided elements in the next available empty slot in the hash table? Linear probing, quadratic, separate, chaining, double hashing. So the answer is linear probing. What linear probing means is, let's say you have an array of 10 elements of 10 size, right? And you have to store like 5 elements, right? So the and you want to use a hash table. So this hash table is of size 10. You want to store 5 elements, and if you think about it, the function using which you are able to assign position for each element, right? Is a hash function. Okay. So this hash function is simply, let's say we take it as a mod of whatever element we get, right? We do a mod with the size of this hash table. So let's say if the element you want to insert is 5, we do a mod with the hash. So your hash is, let's say, 10, right? So we do it we do a mod of it, okay, with 10. So 5 mod 10 is basically 5. So 5 is inserted at position 5. Now let's say if you get 15, you again want to insert 15, but 15 mod 10 is again 5, but 5 is already occupied, right? So you want to store it in some another place, and that is just one place ahead of its correct position. So that is linear programming because we are going in a linear way, right? Just I will write here linear programming means the position is used in hash table when two keys has to the same index, right? When two key has to the same index, and we move sequentially through the array until it finds an empty slot. So that's your hash function. And we have example also like 12, 20 to 32. We want to insert size is 10, and when we get the index 2 again. We get So again we got the index 2 only, but that is full, so we insert in 3. Again we got index 2, but we try to fill it in next position. So 3 is also occupied, so at last we have to store it in index 4. Advantages: simple catch performance. It has a good performance. Generally the size of hash is not 10, it's taking like uh, 62,000 or 64,000, like that. Linear probing can lead to primary clustering where consecutive elements form clusters increasing the number of required reducing efficiency performing the greatest in. Index sequential search is an improvement over sequential search that uses. So we don't have index in linked list, right? So we can't use that. Index sequential search is an improvement over sequential search that uses. Okay, so here we are not talking about which of this uses index sequential search, but we are asking which of this uses sequential search. And in this, if you think about this, sequential search is basically used in linked list. Um, in array we can use index search. In hashing we can use find the element, right? In binary search trees, mm, in binary search tree also you will again have to go with this index search actually. Uh, Not exactly index search, but uh, it's not actually index search in binary search tree. In binary search tree, you will again have to go with the log n approach where you have an element, you choose the first element, and then you go to its left or right depending on the case. Like if it is smaller than that picked up element, or if it is greater than the picked up element. So it's not actually index search, but yeah. So let's see the answer for all this. What they say, what ChatGPT says. So again, it's actually the question itself is a bit tricky. Like it's not actually written in a good way. Let's see what's written in Hindi. अनुक्रमित अनुक्रम खोज अनुक्रम खोज पर एक सुधार है जो उपयोग करता है. Hmm. In Hindi also it's not very clear. Like they want which one, like I think they want to get the sequential search. Again, we can still use sequential search in index. Okay, let's see what index sequential search means. It's a searching algorithm that improves upon traditional sequential search by incorporating an index to allow for faster lookup. Okay, that's true. We can just use index in index sequential search, but in sequential search you have to use sequence. Mhm. Index. uh, okay, array can be the right answer. Binary search tree. Let's see. They're not typically used in the context of index sequential search. Okay, as I said, it takes log n time to search something. It doesn't use index also. It doesn't use sequence also. Coming to the next question, the Tower of Hanoi with NDs, how many moves are required to solve the problem? Actually, I remember this answer. It was 2 to the power n minus 1. Uh, so what Tower of Hanoi means is, let's see the answer here. It will be much more better if I explain. Okay, in the Tower of Hanoi, the objective is to move index and disks from a source peg to a destination peg using an auxiliary peg. So we have so so there's a single bar, right? In that single bar we have certain disks, like based on their sizes and all, like diameter. Now we have to transfer this to a new bar or a peg, but you get only one temporary bar in the between. So how are you going to do that? So it's saying move n minus 1 disk from your source peg to the auxiliary peg. Move the nth largest disk from the source peg to the destination peg. Move the n minus 1 disk from the auxiliary peg to the destination peg. Oh yeah, it's simple. So n minus 1 plus n minus 1 to n minus 1. Yeah. Uh, and then there's also one, right? 2n minus 2 plus 1. So 2n minus 1. Which of the following is not a common example of an abstract data type? Not an example, not a common example of abstract data type. Okay, so abstract means is something which is derived actually here. Stack is something which is derived, Q is derived, list is derived, so the only option you get is integer. Abstract is something which you can directly take it and use it. Uh, so if you might have heard about abstract class and all, right? So yeah. Which type of a linked list is more suitable for implementing a queue data structure? So we have to implement a queue. So in a queue, we insert at start, we pop the element from the end, right? So it's a first in first out policy. We, so we insert at start, but we pop it from the last side. So it can't be a single linked list. We can go ahead with a doubly linked list or circular linked list. So doubly linked list is something from which you can insert from start and end, but circular linked list one is the right answer, I guess. You have to implement a queue, right? So why does it say is the right answer is a single linked list? I think it has to be a circular linked list only. Yeah, it says circular linked list. In a circular linked list, you can in a circular linked list, the last node points back to the first node. So basically, if you have a circle, right, the end will always point to the start, correct? So when you insert at the end, you are and so yeah, I mean it is efficient to perform in queue insert at the end and dequeue remove from the front operations because you can maintain pointers to both the front and rear of the queue, no wasted space, consistent operations, using just array implementation, okay, and straightforward, but very query size one has fixed size limitations. It is not a single list, but an array-based structure. Okay, why not single linked list? Why not single linked list? Because in order to delete an element, right, we'll have to go to the end of the linked list. That will take time. Which storage allocation strategy allocates the largest available block of memory to a process, ensuring the remaining space is maximized? Mm, It is asking like which allocates the largest available block of memory to a process. Which storage allocates the largest available block of memory, ensuring that the remaining space is maximized. So it's not actually asking for your best fit, but it's actually asking you if you get a process right, that means like 1 KB space, but you are actually providing him like 10 MB, 10,000 KB of space. So that is a worst fit, right? In multi-programming with fixed partitions, if a process requires more memory than is available in a partition, it may lead to if a process requires more memory than is available in a partition. In multi-programming with partitions, if a process requires more memory, okay, if a process needs more memory, right, then it is available in a partition, it may lead to fragmentation. So yeah. So what it means like so let's say you have certain partitions or memory blocks, right, in your memory, in your main memory. Now, if a process comes which requires more memory actually, that is present in your RAM or something, right? Then fragmentation occurs. It means that you are not able to allocate that memory to a process, right? Because your process needs more space, but that is not available. Um, so yeah, that is fragmentation. So it's written here the memory is divided into fixed size partitions. Each partition can hold one process, and if a process requires more memory than the partition size, it cannot be accommodated option. In the context of fixed partitions, fragmentation refers to situation where memory is allocated in fixed size blocks, leading to a new space within partitions. Although the term fragmentation often refers to internal and external fragmentation, in fixed partitions, if a process is too large for any partition, it cannot be placed in the available partitions, resulting in a wasted space or unused partition. This is a specific case of external partition, external fragmentation. Okay, now what is Banker's algorithm? Banker's algorithm is an example of deadlock avoidance. So, I mean, you can learn it actually. Uh, so, what Banker's algorithm does is it will try to avoid your deadlock. Okay, so how does it avoid deadlock? It is actually used to allocate resources, and in that way, it is able to avoid the deadlock. It manages your resources and prevents or avoids deadlock. Okay, so these two are different, though it makes so the meaning may be same actually, but in terms of deadlock management strategies, it means different. Prevention means that um, by any means you try not to get into a deadlock, right? You try to prevent deadlock by ensuring that at least one of the necessary conditions for deadlock cannot occur. And what are the conditions for deadlock? Mutual exclusion, hold and wait, no preemption, and circular wait. Techniques used to avoid deadlock by dynamically checking the state. Okay, evidence. So it checks the state of the resource allocation, shows that the resource allocation does not lead the system into an unsafe state. Okay, let's go ahead. The no preemption condition in the deadlock problem means that uh, no preemption means that a resource, if a resource has been, if a CPU has been allocated some resources, right, or a process has been allocated some resources, they won't leave the resources until it is done. So no preemption, right? Once a process holds a resource, it cannot be taken away forcibly. Like so, the second option is the correct one. So this uh, condition and this condition are both the cases of preemption, but we are talking about no preemption. So only two suits the question. The resource matrix, a data structure used in deadlock detection algorithm to um, what resources are allocated to which process is a matrix, right? It is used to it is used to prevent deadlock. I mean, not exactly prevent deadlock. but we want to show the resource allocation. Number of represent the execution of the order of process. No, that is not correct. Represent the execution as to process not correct. Represent the priority of process not correct. It's just if the name suggests resource matter, right? It has to deal with resources only. Why are you getting into process, right? So one is the right answer. The need for a command interpreter. The need for a command interpreter arises because command interpreter arises because if we are not talking about interpreter, just we are talking about command interpreter. Not all program needs an interpreter. Compiler can also do that also. Two is not correct. Software cannot run on hardware. I mean, software runs on hardware only, right? So three is false. Users prefer typing commands over GUIs. Uh, that is not correct actually. So when you use Windows, we use GUI. We don't type commands. And in that way, the one suits the best actually. Okay, now coming to the term, what does NTFS mean? So yeah, NTFS stands for New Technology File System. New tree 4 can be one of this, but I'm not really sure that they will be saying table type. So the answer is New Technology File System. In the relational table, which of the following can also be represented by the term attribute? Which of the following can also be represented by the term attribute? Okay. Hmm. Attribute is something that, so as the word suggests, Visheshta or attribute. Attribute means to describe something, right? Row doesn't describe something, but it's actually the column which is used to describe something. So the word which is correct for this is a column. Entity means the table itself. The term FAT is stands for file allocation table. So two is correct. Are organized collections of data that make them easy to access and manage. What is a collection of data that is so a collection of data is a database actually. So what is the collection of data that makes them easy to access and manage? So the answer is database. What do you mean by one to many relationship? So what does one to many relationship mean? Mm. This question is actually tricky because if you think about it, right, uh, maybe more than one answer you can get here. What do you mean by one to many relationship? One to many relationship means can a teacher have many students? Correct. Can a student have many teachers? Both is correct. So yeah, many teachers have many classes. Okay. Many teachers have many classes means that uh, let's think about it this way. Can a teacher have many class? True. Can one class have many teacher? If you think about it at the same time, no. But if you think in a single day, yes, one class can have many teachers. So that's why it's a bit tricky question. One teacher can have many classes. That is true because teachers go and teach in different classes. Many classes may have many teachers. So I mean that's why I said this question is bit and answer is both wrong actually. Which one of the following refers to the data about data? So if you have a table, right, you need something to describe your table. So that is your metadata, and that is what is asked here, data about data. You want to understand, there's some data, right, to what that data means. So that is stored inside a metadata table of MySQL. Which of the following command is a type of data definition language? Okay, so data definition language means that the operations which are required to create a table, delete a table, like that. So that is create. Uh, Delete here means deleting a row, not exactly the whole table. Update also means updating a row. Merge is not anything actually, so you can ignore merge. Which transport protocol is connectionless and does not guarantee delivery? So the protocol which is connectionless is UDP. TCP is a connection oriented. Congestion control is essential to prevent. Okay, so as congestion is written here, right? So this fourth option makes more sense because we want to prevent something, right? And that is network congestion and perform degradation. What does congestion means? Let's see ChatGPT. What does it say? Okay, so congestion actually means uh, network overload. When there's a network overload occurs when too many people are trying to access the same thing, same amount of data. Uh, so that takes longer time. Packet loss means again like too many people. There is some network issue, right? In that case, we need it because we doesn't want some information of yours to be lost, right? Latency means like in order to get some data, right, it takes a longer time. So that is latency. Which protocol is used for transferring files between a client and a server? To transfer files between a client and a server, the answer would be FTP. So if you want to transfer files between a client and server, FTP is the right answer. FTP. Uh, yeah. SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. So as the mail is present here, right? So we use SMTP to send mails. The HTTP protocol is used for HTTP protocol. So email communication SMTP, file transfer FTP, web browsing is the right answer for HTTP Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So when you browse web, right, HTTP is something which is getting used. UDP is known as User Datagram Protocol, is known for lower rate and faster data transfer. So the answer for UDP is 3 because it's not reliable, it's unreliable, it's not connection oriented, it is connectionless. There's no automatic repeat request because we doesn't know whether the user got your information or not. That's why it's connectionless. The best answer is 3, which is low overhead and faster data transfer. Which one of the following is the most common internet protocol? Common internet protocol. So, I mean, this is not a protocol. Not sure about all this. A TCP/IP sub protocol. So that is the right answer. HTML is hypertext markup language. That is HTML. The waterfall prototype and spiral are examples of. It's not a language. It's a model actually. So I am looking for models. So this is the right answer. Software lifecycle models. So when you're trying to make a project, right, all the steps we can use all this more any of these models to do that actually. Which metric is used to measure software reliability? To measure software reliability, we can use mm, now this is something which I've never seen, so not sure what may be the right answer. Let's see. In the meantime, when this answer comes up, let's look into something else. Which testing method is primarily concerned with testing the software's functionality? So we want to test the software functionalities, right? Uh, so when you want to test the function of a software, right? We don't want to check the code, how each line of code works. We are just we just want to see whether the output or the answer is correct for that particular function or a software, right? So that is your black box testing. In simple terms, if you want to buy a car or something, right? You just check like what's the mileage of the car, what's the look and all those things, right? You don't go into the specifics like how the engine works, how the mileage is better, all those stuff. So that is black box testing. White box testing means like you review each line of the code. You try to understand like how the engine is giving such output, uh, all those stuff. Okay, so now some of the questions are coming which are tough and you might not have heard anywhere. But before that, let's look into this. Which metric is used to measure software reliability? Reliability means like how good is your software. So my answer would be the number of lines of code doesn't tell you whether your software is a good or not. Function points. I mean, it can be an answer like what all functions are there. Uh, okay, so I can just remove second one. It can be one, three, or four because I don't know any of those. Let's come here. Function points measures the size of the software. Okay, but first, software reliability is a measure of the software's ability to perform its intended functions without failure over a specific period under given conditions. Reliability means कि your software will work and won't fail basically without failure to perform its intended functions without failure. Function point measures the size of the software by counting the number of functional components such as inputs, outputs, user interactions, and internal files. This is for estimating the complexity and effort required for development. They do not directly measure reliability. Okay, LOC also doesn't actually measure reliability. It's just the number of lines of the code is big or small. Musa's basic model is a reliability model specifically designed to estimate and predict software reliability. Okay, so Musa basic model is the right answer. It uses failure data and the rate of failure occurrences to assess reliability. This model is based on statistical analysis and helps in understanding and predicting software reliability over time. Psychometric complexity measures the complexity of a software program by counting the number of linear independent paths through the program source code. While it helps assess the complexity of the code, it does not directly measure reliability. So psychometric complexity is the complexity of a software program. Um, okay, so the answer was Musa basic model to check the reliability of your model. Has that software science is concerned with? Okay, okay, I will come to this one later, but before that, what is Putnam's model is used for estimating? Okay, I don't know what is Putnam's model. I will just go through the option. Software size. Does software size matter in a model? No. Software development time, yes, it matters. Software complexity also it matters, but not really. I mean, can be. Software testing efforts. But why will some kind of a model, want to understand how much effort it takes to test your software? So it can be two and three, and I chose software development time as the answer. What about it? Again, coming to this question, reverse engineering is in software refers to. uh, so we want to reverse engineer a software, right? So there's already a software. We want to understand how it was made up. So we are not developing a software, analyzing and understanding existing software. This can be a right answer. Creating new software based on requirements. No, no new software. Testing software component for defects. I mean, we are trying to understand the code of the software, not trying to find defects, right? So it's answer to the framework that provides guidelines for achieving consistent and high quality software is. Okay, I didn't know the answer for this. Okay, now we will stop and looking forward for you to watch my part 3.